Let's go ahead and call the Senate to order. Sergeant at Arms will please secure the chamber doors. Members, please take your seats. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their presence in the chamber? We're getting there. We got some room. Well, apparently there's a quick delegation meeting happening. Sine die. Barely have a quorum. It's normal, right? Well, let's go ahead and once our good friend from the 1st District checks in here. Clerk will take the can we get some we'll let the senator from the 35th add to our quorum here. Clerk will take the call. With the 35 hitting 35, having marked their presence in the chamber, the Senate of Maryland with a quorum is now in session. 36. All right, we will waive the invocation and substitute the one from earlier today from the senator from District 6 as the invocation for this evening. Any announcements? Any introductions? Yes, Chair recognizes the senator from the 29th.
Thank you, Mr. President. For those of you, I think most of you have met her, but those of you that hadn't, Karen, if you'd stand up for a moment. My wife had the opportunity to come and sit with us this evening. She's Karen Bailey from...
Welcome. We are pleased to have you. Any other introductions? Are we sure? We positive? Everyone, all right. Now we're getting there. Why don't we do this? Let's do another quorum call. Just clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their presence? If so, the clerk will take the call. That's better. With 45 members in the chamber and a quorum being now very present, the Senate of Maryland is now in session. All right, we will waive the reading of the journal from the prior legislative day as well. Let's do these quick yeas and nays. We'll start with number 17. Clerk will read the bills.
Senate Bill 72, Senator Patterson, minority participation in the alcoholic beverages industry study.
Majority Leader moves so be considered the reading of the bills. Number 18, clerk will read the bill.
Senate Bill 461, Senator Griffith, State Finance and Procurement Procedures and Pricing and Selection for Preferred Providers.
Message number 19, yeas and nays. Clerk will read the bills.
Senate Bill 151, Senator Carter, Hate Crimes, False Statement to a Law Enforcement Officer.
Majority Leader moves so be considered the reading of the bills. Decent number coming back. Do we have, let's see, we had 45. Let's go ahead and do these third reading calendars. We've got number 70. Clerk will read the first bill.
House Bill 1018, Delegate Carey, Public Safety and Behavioral Health Improvement Act.
All right, House Bill 1018, Chair recognizes Senator from District 9.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have an amendment.
Senator has an amendment. We will collect the amendment. I think that's our first amendment of the day. Is that our first amendment of the day? I think it is. What are the chances? Order them up. No, I don't want to do that to the amendments office. They've been working so hard this year. Clerk will explain the amendment. Senator will explain the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. President. This reinstates some language that was struck in the Finance Committee relating specifically to the appropriation for the University of Maryland System School of Social Work. So it took 2 pages because they had to put back in some of the existing law, but on the 3rd page here you just see point number 2 was just reinserted because we have approval from B&T for this funding. Thank you, Mr. President.
All right, Senator moves the amendment. Chair for Finance on the amendment.
We're fine with the amendment.
Friendly amendment. Any objections to the amendment? Without objection, the amendment is adopted. House Bill 1018 is now on 3rd reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Anyone wish to explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 47 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 1018 having received a constitutional majority is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 1274, Delegate Kipke, Prescription Drugs, Pharmacy Benefits Managers, Federal 340B Program.
House Bill 1274 is on 3rd reading for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 47 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 1274, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. All right, 87, calendar 87, Senate bill.
Senate Bill
Senator, clerk, read the bill.
Senate Bill 928, Senator Gazzoni, Department of Planning, Maryland Humanities Council, appropriation for humanities investment in nonprofits for equity, SHINE, grant-making initiative.
Senate Bill 928 is on 3rd reading for final passage. Challenge extended. 4 hours and 4 minutes. We'll see. All right. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote? If not, clerk will take the call. With 47 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 928, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. I have faith. All right. Okay, let's go to special order calendar number 100. This one's been with us for a little bit, but I think we have the amendment ready. Special order number 100. Clerk, read the bill.
House Bill 723, Delegate Charles, State Finance and Procurement, Procedures and Pricing and Selection Committee for Preferred Providers. Bill is on 3rd reading for final passage.
House Bill 723 is on 3rd reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 47 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 723, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. These are all conferences, huh? All right. We'll see what happens. Let's go to House Bill 833, get this conference started. Clerk will read the first message.
House Bill 833, Delegate Learman, Criminal Law, Victims of Child Sex Trafficking and Human Trafficking, Safe Harbor and Service Response. By the Majority Leader, ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, the House of Delegates refuses to concur in the Senate amendments and respectfully requests the Senate recede from its position. By order, Sylvia Seeger, Chief Clerk.
Message having been read is ordered journalized. Clerk will read the next message.
By the Majority Leader, ladies and gentlemen of the House of Delegates, the Senate does not recede in the Senate amendments and respectfully requests the House reconsider and concur. Should the House prefer a conference committee to confer on the disagreeing votes of the two houses, the Senate appoints Senator Lee, Chair, Senator Carter, Senator Casserly. Said bill is returned herewith by order Nicole Alexander, Secretary.
Message having been read is adopted. Let's go to House Bill 1205, another conference committee. 1205. Clerk will read the message.
House Bill 1205, Delegate P. Young, State Government, Information Technology and Cybersecurity, Related Infrastructure, Modernized Maryland Act of 2022. By the Majority Leader, ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, the House of Delegates refuses to concur in the Senate amendments and respectfully requests the Senate recede from its position. Should the Senate prefer a conference committee to confer on the disagreeing votes of the two houses, the House appoints Delegate P. Young, Chair, Delegate Rosenberg, Delegate Kipke. Said bill is returned herewith by order of Sylvia Seeger, Chief Clerk.
Message having been read is ordered journalized. Clerk will read the next message.
By the Majority Leader, ladies and gentlemen of the House of Delegates, the Senate does not recede in the Senate amendments and agrees to a conference committee to confer on the disagreeing votes of the two houses. The House has appointed Delegate P. Young, Chairman, Delegate Rosenberg, Delegate Kipke. The Senate appoints Senator Griffith, Chair, Senator Zucker, Senator Salling. Said bill is returned herewith by order Nicole Alexander, Secretary.
All right, message having been read is adopted. We've got another one here. This is Senate Bill 33. Clerk will read the message.
Senate Bill 33, Senator Lee, Criminal Law, Sexual Crimes, Fourth Degree Sexual Offense, and Spousal Defense. By the Majority Leader, ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, the House of Delegates does not recede in the House amendments to the Senate bill and agrees to a conference committee to confer on the disagreeing votes of the two houses. The Senate has appointed Senator Lee, Chairman, Senator Hellman, Senator West. The House appoints Delegate Shetty, Chair, Delegate Crutchfield, Delegate Bartlett. Said bill is returned herewith by order Sylvia Seeger, Chief Clerk.
Message having been read is ordered adopted. Nope, pardon me. Message from the House to the Senate is ordered journalized. Next, we have Senate Bill 71. Clerk will read the message.
Senate Bill 71, Senator Kramer, Hate Crime Civil Remedy. By the Majority Leader, ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, the House of Delegates does not recede in the House amendments to the Senate bill and agrees to a conference committee to confer on the disagreeing votes of the two houses. The Senate has appointed Senator Carter, Chairman, Senator Wallstreicher, Senator Castley. The House appoints Delegate Crutchfield, Chair, Delegate Davis, Delegate Williams. Said bill is returned herewith by order Sylvia Seeger, Chief Clerk.
Message having been read is ordered journalized. We've got another one. Senate Bill 391. Clerk will read the message.
Senate Bill 391, the President, Economic Development, More Jobs for Marylanders Program, Extension and Alterations. By the Majority Leader, ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, the House of Delegates does not recede in the House amendments to the Senate bill and agrees to a conference committee to confer on the disagreeing votes of the two houses. The Senate has appointed Senator Gazzoni, Chairman, Senator Quarterman, Senator Rosapep. The House appoints Delegate Lukey, Chair, Delegate Charles, Delegate Buckle. Said bill is returned herewith by order Sylvia Seeger, Chief Clerk.
Message having been read is ordered journalized. Senate Bill 213. Clerk will read the message.
Senate Bill 213, Chair Finance Committee, State Commission of Real Estate Appraisers, Appraisal Management Companies, and Home Inspectors, Sunset Extension. By the Majority Leader, ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, the House of Delegates does not recede in the House amendments to the Senate bill and agrees to a conference committee to confer on the disagreeing votes of the two houses. The Senate has appointed Senator Hayes, Chairman, Senator Vital, Senator Reedy. The House appoints Delegate Carey, Chair, Delegate Charkoudian, Delegate Howard. Said bid is returned herewith by order Sylvia Seeger, Chief.
Message having been read is ordered journalized. All right. We've got another message from the House of yeas and nays. Clerk will read the bills.
Senate Bill 74, Senator Jackson, Circuit Court Clerk's Salary Increase.
Majority Leader moves so be considered the reading of the bills. All right, we do have a conference committee report here. This is on House Bill 460. Clerk will read the bill.
House Bill 460, Delegate Guyton, Baltimore County Alcoholic Beverages License is transfer.
Mr. President.
Chair recognizes the chair of the conference committee.
Yes, this is a Baltimore County alcohol bill. There were two changes in the conference. The first changes the percentage for the license transfer from 15 down to 10, and it also a technical change reverses the wording of economic and workforce. I move that we adopt the conference report.
The senator moves that we adopt the conference committee report. Any discussion? Any objections to the conference report? Without objection, the conference committee report is adopted. House Bill 460 is now again before the Senate on third reading for final passage. Any discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 46 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 460, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. All right, next we have Conference Committee report for 1202, House Bill 1202. Clerk will read the bill.
House Bill 1202, Delegate P. Young, Local Government Cybersecurity Coordination and Operations, Local Cybersecurity Support Act of 2022.
Chair recognizes Chair of the Conference Committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. 1202 is the local government cybersecurity bill. It's one of the two bills in our committee. You just heard about 1205 and budget and tax. They basically accepted all of our amendments, including the floor amendments from the sponsor of the bill, as well as the senator from District 7. There was one change, and that is probably where we had the most conversation. And that was in the uncodified section as to what role DO-IT would have in ensuring following through on any corrections governments needed to make. So the language that was in the original bill that said they would assume responsibility as the first option has been stricken, and now it will say provide guidance for the unit to achieve compliance with the cybersecurity standards. Mr. President would move that we adopt the conference committee report.
All right, Chairman moves that we adopt the Conference Committee report. On the report, Chair recognizes the Senator for Minority Leader.
Yes, thank you. And I wanted to thank the chair and the floor leader for working with this. We all like to vote for puppies in cybersecurity, and I'm glad to put a green vote up here.
All right. Conference Committee worked itself through. All right, any further discussion of the report? If not, are there any objections to the report? Without objection, the Conference Committee report is adopted. House Bill 1202 is now again before the Senate on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote. If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 1202, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. We have more cyber. This is 1346. 1346. Clerk will read the bill.
House Bill 1346, Delegate P. Young, State Government Cybersecurity Coordination and Governance.
All right, Chair recognizes the Chair of the committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is the second of the two cybersecurity bills dealing with DO-IT's responsibility with the multiple agencies of state government. Again, virtually all of the amendments were adopted from our committee. The floor amendments from the sponsor and the senator from District 7. There were two changes. First, the final uncodified language in terms of assume responsibility was removed and replaced with ensure compliance. I think people feel a little bit softer. And secondly, it allows the Treasurer's Office, Comptroller's Office, AG's Office, and I think I'm missing one, to self-approve the checklist, whether they comply or not. Other than that, it's the bill that we passed in the Senate, moved to adopt the Conference Committee report.
Chairman moves that we adopt the Conference Committee report. Any discussion? Any objections to the report? Without objection, the Conference Committee report is adopted. House Bill 1346 is now again before the Senate on third reading for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 46 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 1346, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. We've got another conference committee report. This is on Senate Bill 704. Senate Bill 704 out of Judicial Proceedings.
Senate Bill 704, Senator Heddleman, conditions of pretrial release, home detention monitoring, alterations, and extension.
All right, Chair recognizes the bill sponsor and conference committee chair on the
Thank you.
conference report.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. The difference between the House and the Senate version focused on who was part of the work group, and we compromised, and we have two folks from the industry who are going to be non-voting participants, and I believe everyone signed the conference committee report. I move for the favorable adoption of the report.
All right, the conference committee chair moves for the adoption of the report. Any discussion? Any objections to the report? Without objection, the conference committee report is adopted. Senate Bill 704 is now again before the Senate on third reader, final passage. Any discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 47 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 704, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. We have a concurrence calendar out of Judicial Proceedings. Oh, no, that's not true. Education, Health, Environmental, all three committees. So this is calendar 45. Clerk will read the first bill.
Senate Bill 696, Senator Bidle, Maryland Loan Assistance Repayment for Nurses and Nursing Workers, Program Establishment and Funding, EHE.
All right, Chair recognizes Chair of the Committee on the House Amendments.
Yes, Mr. President. This deals with the Loan Assistance Repayment Program, also known as LARP. It sets a priority for determining who receives the funding and requires a study to incentivize nursing. We've heard about the nursing shortage and actually the broader crisis in healthcare employees. The committee recommends we concur with the House amendments.
All right, Chair moves that we concur with the House amendments. Any discussion? Any objections to the House amendments? Without objection, the House amendments are adopted. Senate Bill 696 is again before the Senate on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 46 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 696, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 20, Senator Lee, Criminal Procedure, Out-of-Court Statements, Child Victims and Witnesses, JPR.
Chair recognizes the Chair of the Committee on the House Amendments.
Thank you, Mr. President. The committee motions to concur with the House amendments.
On the House,
On the House amendments. We concur with the House amendments.
all right. Are there any discussion? Chair recognizes the Senator from the 34th on the House Amendments.
Just tell what the amendments are, please.
The Chairman, please give us just a moment.
Yeah, that's right. It's literally just a technical amendment. It substitutes the word the for and. It was a technical amendment. It literally just substituted the word the for and. And.
All right, the Chairman moves the amendments. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the House amendments are adopted. Senate Bill 20 is again on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 46 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 20, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 506, Senator King, Children Therapeutic Child Care Program Funding, B&T.
Chair recognizes the Chair of Budget and Tax on the House amendments. we want to? All right. Why don't we do this? Why don't we special order for 10 minutes? 10 minutes? All right. Without any, or without objection, any objections, without objections, we'll special order the conference report for 10 minutes. Okay. Do we have some introductions? Senator from District 1.
Thank you, Mr. President, and ladies and gentlemen, Senate. This is third shift. I'd like for y'all to give a warm Senate welcome to my son, Paul, who came all the way down here today to watch us close up this session.
Very good. Welcome, welcome. Great to see you. Chair recognizes the Senator from Anne Arundel.
Thank you. Opportunity to introduce one of my 7 kids. I remember when I first started, you know, they were like this tall, enamored by it and all that, but I've got my son Isaac here. He traveled all the way down from Anne Arundel County to get here, so give him a round of applause.
Welcome, Isaac. Welcome, welcome. Welcome. All right, any other introductions? We've got some more people in the gallery, so if there's anybody, all right, if not, let's, we've got a message from the House. 2 messages from the conference report. This is House Bill 136. Clerk will read the first message.
House Bill 136, Delegate Kerr, Education, Public and Non-Public Schools, Seizure Action Plans, Brindley's Act. By the Majority Leader, ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, the House of Delegates refused to concur in the Senate amendments and respectfully requests the Senate recede from its position. Should the Senate prefer a conference committee to confer on the disagreeing votes of the 2 houses, the House appoints Delegate Ebersol chair, Delegate Wilkins, Delegate Griffith. Said bill is returned herewith by order Sylvia Seeger, Chief Clerk.
Message having been read is ordered journalized. Clerk will read the next message.
By the Majority Leader, ladies and gentlemen of the House of Delegates, the Senate does not recede in the Senate amendments and agrees to a conference committee to confer on the disagreeing votes of the 2 houses. The House has appointed Delegate Ebersol chairman, Delegate Wilkins, Delegate Griffith. The Senate appoints Senator Penske chair, Senator Ellis, Senator Carrozza. Said bill is returned herewith by order Nicole Alexander, Secretary.
Message having been read is adopted. All right, we have an amended House bill here. This is out of Budget and Tax, calendar 60, report number 64. Clerk will read the bill.
House Bill 1208, Delegate Kelly, Health Occupations, Healthcare Workforce Expansion, favorable with 2 amendments.
Chair recognizes the Senator from the 37th as the floor leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a pretty significant bill in light of the pandemic and in light of all the good work that our healthcare delivery team has provided. So House Bill 1208 establishes a licensed practical nurse and registered nurse preceptorship income tax credit. And you've heard about that before because we've done those for advanced practice nurses and physician's assistants and physicians. And it creates a stakeholder work group to study the expanding state apprenticeship programs to the healthcare workforce. The bill also creates additional responsibilities for the Board of Nursing related to that expansion of workforce in the nursing-related fields, such as requiring an evaluation, establishing standards for online nursing assistant training programs, and allowing on-the-job experience as a nursing assistant to count toward certification. Heretofore, we've provided our nursing education in our community colleges and our institutions of higher learning, but I think in the future we're going to need to combine those and do more in the actual workplace, either in long-term care and in acute care. The bill generally takes effect June 1, 2022, and the tax credit provisions take effect July 1, 2022, and apply to tax years 2022 through 2024. They terminate on June 30th, 2025, and there are 2 amendments. The First Amendment makes technical changes, and the Second Amendment clarifies that standards for online training and that they apply only to the didactic instructive. And for those of you who don't understand didactic instruction, as we had a conversation in our committee, that's the actual theory part where you have classroom facts and information. It requires certain training sites to be approved within 45 days and strikes a study regarding the establishment of a loan assistance repayment program for nurses because, as we heard in Senate Bill 696, it would have been duplicative. It also establishes a loan assistance repayment program for nursing and has a similar work group. I would move the adoption of the committee report.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the 2 committee amendments and the favorable committee report. On the amendments, any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the 2 committee amendments are adopted. Question now is on the amended report. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the favorable committee report as amended is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, House Bill 1208 is hereby ordered passed for third reading. Let's go to the concurrence calendar. This is a message from the House, Senate Bills amended, number 46. Clerk will read the first bill.
Senate Bill 14, Senator Elfrith, Sustainable Maryland Program Fund Establishment.
All right, this is out of Education, Health, and Environment. Chair recognizes Chair of the Committee on the House Amendments.
Mr. President, the House amendments added definition of Sustainable Maryland Program and unfortunately reduced the mandatory appropriation from $750,000 to $500,000. It's still a good bill. It gets it started and expands it. So we move to concur.
All right, the Chair moves that we concur with the House amendments. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the House amendments are adopted. Senate Bill 14 is now again before the Senate on third reading for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote. If not, the clerk will take the call. With 47 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 14, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk, read the next bill.
Senate Bill 501, Senator Elfrith, Maryland Higher Education Commissioner, Procedures, Alterations, EHE.
Chair recognizes the Chair of the Committee on the House Amendments.
Thank you, Mr. President. The amendments to Senate Bill 501 will make it identical to House Bill 1030, which you voted on, I believe, on Friday or Saturday. This is the bill that sets up a common application for scholarships and also allows tax information and income to be directed towards that application, and the applicant move that we concur with the House amendments.
All right, the Chair moves that we concur with the House amendments. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the House amendments are adopted. Senate Bill 501 is now again before the Senate on third reader, final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote. If not, the clerk will take the call. With 47 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 501, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 648, Senator Young, Frederick County Alcoholic Beverages Act of 2022, EHE.
Chair recognizes the Chair of the Alcohol Subcommittee and the House amendments.
Thank you, Mr. President. The 2 changes to this Frederick alcohol beverage bill. The first strikes provisions related to the state residency. The second changes the title, and because these 2 senators are such good friends now, they add co-sponsors. I move to concur.
All right, Senator moves to concur with the House amendments. Any discussion of the amendments? Any objections? Chair recognizes the senator from District 4.
I'm fine to concur, but I think it's important to note what the House did. They actually struck my name, did they not, as a co-sponsor? Yes, as an amendment. Yeah, so, I mean, look, it doesn't matter, but I think this sort of shows the relationship between the Senate and House. It's kind of a juvenile action that they did. I want this to go in effect. It's every liquor bill, but the House literally just took a local bill and struck my name off for no reason. So I want the bill to go forward, but I do think it's important for this body to see what our friends across the hall are doing.
All right,
Mr.
Senator.
President.
Chair recognizes, Chair recognizes the senator from Anne Arundel.
I read it quickly and I assumed they were adding, so I
Right.
apologize for that.
Yeah. No, that's not all right. The problem is it's too late. Chair recognizes the senator from Frederick City.
Thank you, Mr. President. I hate on my last day here to say something like this, but I'm going to say it. We used to have what I thought was called courtesy on local bills. We had 8 local bills in this year. They either held or messed with 6 of them. And this is one of them. And I think it demonstrates their lack of courtesy, and I think it shows their immaturity. I'm not even going to vote for the bill. I'm not flattered because my name's on it. It was just an immature thing, and taking the other senator's name off was equally immature. And I just think it's demonstration of what's happening across the hall.
Let's do this. Let's special order this for a minute. Yeah. Yeah. Let's think about this here for a minute. Chair recognizes the senator from Frederick again.
I'm with Senator Huff. We want the bill, and I just think we both
You know,
have
it's
to
not
say
okay,
we thought
right.
it was immature. We want what's in it, but they even messed with a little bit of the content of the bill, and it's just a shame that they're playing games like this.
All right. Let's do this.
Mr. President, I'll just say this.
Hold
Look.
on, Senator, just 1 second. Let me just. There was a. Well, all right, Senator from District 4.
I would just say this. Look, it was just Palm Sunday. There was a great, at my church, a great sermon, turn the other cheek, look the other way. It was a juvenile act by them. Let's just pass the bill and move forward. It's just, I thought it's worth pointing out because y'all are going to have to deal with this for the next 4 years. I will not. Let's just move forward with it. Thank you. I appreciate the sentiment. Let's just pass it and move forward. Thank you.
All right, all right. On the House amendments, all right. Are there any objections? Certainly there are, but we're going to. All right. All in favor of the amendment, say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The House amendments are adopted. Senate Bill 648 is on 3rd reading for final passage. The clerk, any discussion? The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote? Chair, in explaining his vote, apologizes, did not know that this was happening. And if it had known, this would have ended differently. I hate that it's 8:30 at night, but it's not okay. That's not how we work. This it affects people. So it's got to be better than that. All right. Clerk will take the call. With 38 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 648, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 831, Senator Zucker, Education Support Professionals Work Group and Bonus, B&T.
Chair recognizes the senator from Montgomery County on the House amendments.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. The Senate concurs with the House amendments since they conform exactly to House Bill 1349 that passed unanimously out of this body. I would move concurring with the House amendments.
All right. Senator moves to concur with the House amendments. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the Senate concurs with the House amendments. Senate Bill 831 is again before the body on 3rd reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote. If not, the clerk will take the call. With 47 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 831, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. All right, we have a special ordered concurrence. If we could bring that one back up. This is 506. It was special ordered for 10 minutes. Clerk will read the bill.
Senate Bill 506, Senator King, Children Therapeutic Child Care Program Funding.
Chair recognizes the chair of the committee on the House amendments.
Thank you, Mr. President. Turns out it was pretty simple. This is a grant program for therapeutic child programs. The distributions of the grants are now substantially identical to HB 725, which we already have passed. So the committee moves to concur.
All right, the committee moves to concur with the House amendments. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the House amendments are adopted. Senate Bill 506 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 47 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 506, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. All right, we have a second reader here from Judicial Proceedings, one bill. This is report number 53. Clerk, read the bill.
House Bill 441, Delegate Clippinger, Baltimore City, pretrial release of defendant notice. Favorable with one amendment.
Chair recognizes the chair of the committee as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. This bill requires the Department of Public Safety and Correctional Services to notify the Baltimore Police Department if a defendant is released before trial. The bill applies only in Baltimore City, and DPSCS must provide the required notice within 24 hours of release. Notice provided by DPCSC is required to be provided in a manner that allows the sorting, filtering, and of the information provided. There was one committee amendment. The amendment alters the notice provisions of the bill. I'd move for the adoption of the favorable committee report and the one amendment.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the one committee amendment and the favorable committee report. On the amendment, any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the one committee amendment is adopted. Question now is on the favorable report as amended. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the favorable committee report as amended is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, House Bill 441 is hereby ordered passed for third reading. All right, we've got, trying to find any that have, oh, that does have amendments. All right, we've got calendar 76 out of Education, Health, Environmental Affairs. Clerk will read the first bill.
House Bill 689, Carroll County Delegation. Carroll County Board of Education, member compensation, favorable.
All right, Carroll County, 689. Increases the compensation for the Carroll County. Chair recognizes the senator from District 9 as a floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. This bill increases the compensation for the members of the Carroll County Board of Education by $4,000, beginning with their next term of office. Under the bill, the board president receives $13,000 annually as compensation, and the other voting members receive $12,000. The bill takes effect July 1st, 2022. There are no committee amendments, and I recommend the adoption of the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the favorable committee report. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the favorable committee report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, House Bill 689 is hereby ordered passed for third reading. Clerk, read the next bill.
House Bill 1216, Delegate Wells, Department of Agriculture, Urban Agriculture Grant Fund, favorable.
Chair recognizes the Vice Chair of the committee as the floor leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Colleagues, this did not have a cross file, so I just want to flag it for you and tell you a little bit about this bill. It creates a grant program that will be available in urban areas, and that's not just Baltimore City, but it is also in areas on the Eastern Shore and in Southern Maryland. It's going to be focused on food deserts and will set up grant programs for nonprofits, for higher education institutions, and for agricultural producers. There is money in the governor's supplemental budget, so this is ready to go. It passed unanimously out of committee, and there were no committee amendments, and I move the adoption of the favorable report.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the favorable committee report. All in favor of the report say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The favorable committee report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, House Bill 1216 is hereby ordered passed for third reading. Clerk, read the next bill.
House Bill 1285, Delegate Hornberger, Maryland Electricians Act revisions, favorable with one amendment.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 33rd District as the floor leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. This is the exact cross file of Senate Bill 607, sponsored by my very good friend from Baltimore City. Mr. President, the only difference is the effective date. The amendment changes the effective date from June to July to conform to the Senate bill. Move the amendment and the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the one committee amendment and the favorable committee report. On the amendment, any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the one committee amendment is adopted. Now to the amended report. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the favorable committee report is amended is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, House Bill 1285 is hereby ordered passed for third reading. Clerk, read the next bill.
House Bill 1439, Delegate Landis, Maryland Intrastate Emergency Management Assistance Compact, City of Bowie, favorable.
Chair recognizes the chair of the committee as the floor
Thank you,
leader.
Mr. President. This bill is identical to the cross-file SB 932. It includes Bowie as a participating jurisdiction in the Maryland Interstate Emergency Management Assistance Compact, MEMAC. Move favorable.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the favorable committee report. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the favorable committee report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, House Bill 1439 is hereby ordered passed to third reading. All right, we have a concurrence calendar out of budget and tax. Number 47, clerk will read the bill.
Senate Bill 1009, Senator Zucker, prior authorization of state debt, alterations, budget, and taxation.
Chair recognizes the chair of the committee on the House amendments.
Thank you, Mr. President. As passed by the Senate, the bill modifies authorizations of state debt and prior year capital budgets. House amendments make changes to additional projects. Budget tax concurs.
All right, chair moves we concur with House amendments. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the House amendments are adopted. Senate Bill 1009 is now again before the body on third reading for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 47 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 1009, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. We have a conference committee report out of Education, Health, Environmental Affairs, House Bill 1276. 1276. Clerk will read the bill.
House Bill 1276, Delegate Attar, Baltimore City Youth Data Hub Establishment.
All right, this one is the conference committee report, not the message.
No, that's the
Just came up on the desk.
okay.
All right.
All right.
Chair recognizes the chair of the conference committee to explain the conference committee report.
Okay. This bill establishes the Baltimore City Youth Data Hub, the sharing of data within Baltimore City. The House amendments modify the definition of provider and clarify the Open Meetings Act. EHE will concur.
This was the conference committee report. Moves for the
Yes.
adoption of the conference committee report. Is that correct?
Move for the adoption of the conference committee report.
All right. On the conference committee report, is there any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the conference committee report is adopted. Are there, House Bill 1276 is now before the Senate on third reading for final passage. Any discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 47 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 1276, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. We now have a calendar out of judicial proceedings. This is report number 52. Clerk will read the first bill.
House Bill 34, Delegate Crosby, Criminal Law, Indecent Exposure Within the Sight of a Minor, favorable.
Chair recognizes chair of the committee as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. The bill codifies the prohibition on committing the common law crime of indecent exposure. A violator is guilty of a misdemeanor and subject to the existing statutory penalty of imprisonment up to 3 years and a fine of up to $10,000. The bill also establishes a new offense for prohibiting a person from committing an indecent exposure with prurient intent within the sight of a minor who is at least 4 years old and more than 4 years younger than the perpetrator. The offense is a misdemeanor and punishable by imprisonment up to 5 years and a fine of up to $10,000. There are no committee amendments and move for the adoption of the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the favorable committee report. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the favorable committee report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, House Bill 34 is hereby ordered passed for third reading. Clerk, read the next bill.
House Bill 174, Delegate Lehman, landlord and tenant repossession for failure to pay rent, registration, and license information, favorable with 2 amendments.
Chair recognizes the senator from District 11 as the floor leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. This bill, as amended, establishes that information regarding the status of a rental property as an affected property under certain lead-based paint abatement laws may be an issue of fact at trial for failure to pay rent. The bill takes effect October 1, 2023. There are 2 committee amendments. The first one is technical, and the second one limits the bill to the status of rental property as an affected property in a failure to pay rent proceeding and delays the effective date of the bill. I move for the adoption of the amendments and the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the 2 committee amendments and the favorable committee report on the amendments. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the 2 committee amendments are adopted. Question now is on the amended report. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the favorable committee report as amended is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, House Bill 174 is hereby ordered passed for third reading. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 185, Delegate Pippi, criminal law visual surveillance with prurient intent, private place, and minor victim.
Chair recognizes the senator from Montgomery as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. This bill establishes a violation of Section 3-902 of the Criminal Law Article, visual surveillance with prurient intent, through the use of a camera where the victim was a minor at the time of the offense and the person who conducted the visual surveillance was at least 4 years older than the victim, is a misdemeanor punishable by prison up to 5 years and or $2,500 maximum fine. The bill also adds residence and another place of private use or accommodation to list of locations in the definition of private place under Section 3-902. There are no committee amendments. Move favorable to the committee report.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the favorable committee report. On the report, any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the favorable committee report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, House Bill 185 is ordered passed for third reading. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 518, Delegate Williams, registers of wills, maximum salary increase, favorable.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 42nd District as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. This bill increases the maximum annual salary that the Board of Public Works may set for a register of wills from $124,500 to $146,500. Pursuant to constitutional requirements, the salary increase takes effect at the beginning of the next term of office. There were no committee amendments. The vote of the committee was unanimous. I move the adoption of the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the favorable committee report. On the report, any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the favorable committee report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, House Bill 518 is hereby ordered passed to third reading. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 650, Delegate Brooks, execution on a judgment, child support, arrearage, workers' compensation, favorable.
House Bill 650 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, excuse me. We need to find. We need a floor report. Floor report. 650. Judicial proceed. Chair recognizes the senator from Baltimore City as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. This bill specifies that 25% of the net recovery by a debtor on a claim for workers' compensation indemnity benefits is subject to execution on a judgment for a child support arrearage, including any weekly benefits or settlement proceeds payable to the debtor. There are no committee amendments. I would move the adoption of the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the favorable committee report. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the favorable committee report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, House Bill 650 is hereby ordered passed to third reading. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 885, Howard County Delegation, Howard County Sheriff's salary, favorable.
Chair recognizes the senator from District 11 as the floor leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. This bill alters the annual salary of the sheriff of Howard County. There are no committee amendments. I move for the adoption of the favorable adoption of the report.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the favorable committee report. On the report, any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the favorable committee report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, House Bill 885 is hereby ordered passed for third reading. Chair recognizes Chair of Judicial Proceedings.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to make a motion to suspend Rule 24 to have 2 readings in one day.
Chairman's moved to suspend the rules to have 2 readings in one day. Are there any objections to the senator's motion? Without objection, and the rules having been suspended, House Bill 885 is now before the body on 3rd reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to explain their? Chair recognizes the senator from District 4. Has 2
Yeah,
minutes to
thank you.
explain his
Very happy to explain my vote. This is for the Howard County Sheriff. I'm very happy to give local courtesy, unlike the chamber across the hall where the Frederick County Sheriff's salary is also stuck, been special ordered, and just sitting there. So always happy to support our sheriffs, support Howard County sheriffs. Hopefully across the hall they'll actually recognize local courtesy. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator. All right, any further senators wish to explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 44 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 885, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Looks like we have a Senate crossfile. We'll see. 54. Clerk will read the bill.
Senate Bill 326, Senator Lee, criminal law, visual surveillance with prurient intent, minor victim, favorable with 3 amendments.
All right. Chair recognizes the senator from Montgomery County as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. This bill establishes a violation of 3-902 of the criminal law article, visual surveillance with prurient intent, through the use of a camera where the victim was a minor at the time of the offense, and a person who conducted the visual surveillance was at least 4 years older than the victim, is a misdemeanor punishable by imprisonment up to 5 years and or a $2,500 maximum fine. The bill was also adds residence and other place of private use or accommodation to the list of locations and definition of private place under section 3-902. The bill is identical now to HB 185 that just passed 2nd reader. There are 3 committee amendments. Amendment number 1 is technical. Amendment number 2 clarifies and alters the location to which the prohibition is applicable. And amendment number 3 alters the penalty provisions under the bill. Move favorable the committee report with the amendments.
All right. Floor leader moves to the adoption of 3 committee amendments and the favorable committee report on the amendments. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, 3 committee amendments are adopted. Question now is on the amended report. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the amended report is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 326 is hereby ordered printed for 3rd reading. We have special order calendar number 103. 103. Clerk will read the bill.
House Bill 866, Delegate G, Genetic Information Privacy, Consumer Protection, and Forensic Genealogy. Questions on the adoption of the committee amendments and the favorable report.
All right, question before the body is on the 3 committee amendments. Chair recognizes the senator from the 44th District on the amendments.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I do have an amendment, but before I get to that, I wanted to make note that from the time that this last came up, I was able to obtain an article from the Attorney General's office that talks about how there's a company called Theranos who uses these types of regulatory loopholes that I believe that this bill, if passed with the language in accordance with, would cause. Now, given the lateness of the hour, I don't know if you all want me to read the article to you all. I'm just saying, I mean, maybe you want to read, I mean, we got how much time? All right, all right. The article is from The Verge, and it says, Theranos isn't the only diagnostic company exploiting regulatory loopholes. Avoiding pre-market verification is downright easy. The amendment that I have is, let's see, 353921.
Well, I'm sorry. Oh, Senator, I'm sorry. We have to adopt the amendments first. The committee amendments first.
Shall I read all right, I'm sorry, let me go ahead and read the article now.
But we can take the amendment, but we just have to take we have to adopt the committee product first.
Go ahead.
All right. On the amendments. All right. All in favor of the amendment say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The 3 committee amendments are adopted. Question now is on the amended report. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the favorable committee report as amended is adopted. Senator has an amendment. Clerk will collect. All right, Senators, it's getting a little too much. The clerk will collect this. Oh, we have the amendment. All right. Let's get it loaded up. Clerk will explain the amendment. Not the clerk. Senator will explain the amendment. It's been a long day.
So as I mentioned, I have this article that talks about companies that are exploiting regulatory loopholes. My fear is that if we pass this bill tonight without allowing me, who has worked pretty hard in this area, to make certain that our consumers are protected, you all who may be using companies like Ancestry.com, 23andMe, and so forth, are protected, we're going to build into law this regulatory loophole that could be exploited. The article reads, Pathway Genomics, Edmira Health, and Strand Life Sciences are diagnostic companies that offer cancer tests that impact people's health care decisions. None of these companies have published data about their tests in peer-reviewed journals, nor were any of these companies required to show regulators that their tests worked before they started marketing them to patients and physicians. That's because each of these companies has been making use of what's known as a laboratory-developed test loophole, which makes avoiding pre-market verification downright easy. Each of these diagnostic tests are positioned to influence crucial health decisions. A positive test result from Pathway Genomics might encourage someone to seek treatment for a disease that will never develop. Results from Edmira Health and Strand Life Sciences might make someone favor one cancer treatment over another, but patients might not know is that every single one of these companies was able to start selling their tests without first proving to regulators that their results were accurate. Under the laboratory-developed loophole, any company that develops and conducts a diagnostic test in their own lab, or in case of Theranos, in multiple labs, can avoid submitting that test to the FDA before using it on patients. This get out of regulation free card exists because research hospitals often modify commercial tests. In the case of these hospitals, the academic researchers tend to publish their results anyway, so it's less of a big deal that they don't get clearance first. But a few years ago, startups figured out how they too could benefit from the LDT loophole. If they conducted all their tests in-house instead of trying to sell them to other labs, they wouldn't have to verify their claims with regulators before they launched a test. I'm not going to continue reading this because I'm not going to do that to my colleagues. But what I am going to say is, with this amendment, this puts the bill in a posture that our Attorney General said would be good for consumers. I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't trust what my legal counsel has said. I want to not just pass any legislation, I want to pass good legislation. If this would have been in my first year when I was over in the House, I would have said, man, I need a bill so I can go back to my constituents and show them what I've done. But I'm now 8 years in, and I don't need a bill with my name on it to show the work that I've done. This campaign season, I'm going to be walking around with something on my back that says, let the works that I do speak for me. I'm on this floor tonight speaking to you all because I want you all to speak for your constituents and make certain that they're protected as they should be. What this amendment does is it strikes the language strikes conducted in accordance with and substitutes the language subject to, so that we are ensuring that there are no gaps in this what is supposed to have been a consumer protection bill. Now, mind you, the organizations that came to me initially, the Ancestry.coms and the 23andMe's, they're fine with this language. It's something that had happened over in the House when Pharma and others got involved and started mucking up this bill that was not for them. So with that, I'm not going to, what is it, 854? I move the amendment.
All right, Senator moves the amendment. Let's hear from the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. And let me say, I don't know all of us got, I know it's on the floor system. I don't have a physical copy of the amendment, but I get the gist of it. And I want to thank my good friend, the senator from 44th District for offering the amendment. Let me just kind of boil it down to, I think, pretty straightforward. And the reason, okay, we do have it here. The reason, yeah, so this is designed, the intent of the bill, just to be clear, this is important consumer protection. Right now we have no rules of the road consumer protections on these direct marketing genetic testing, and the gentleman mentioned some of the companies, so we don't have anything on the books. That's what this is designed to do. That's what the point of the bill is. It's not designed and hasn't been designed, or I don't think was intended to be designed for early stage clinical testing. That's not the point of the bill, and yet the way the gentleman's amendment is crafted, it would bring in unintentionally, in the view of the Tech Council of Maryland and the folks who do this, because of the verbiage, it would actually have the impact of applying the consent, disclosures, the policies, all the good things in this bill to early clinical testing, not these genetic testing kits that is the point of the bill. And so, you know, it will have a chilling effect. The reason the committee voted unanimously, it talked about this very language and decided on a unanimous basis to not go with that because, again, of the unintended impacts. So I'll just reiterate, I don't really think there's more I want to add other than the intent of the bill and the design of the bill is for those direct marketing genetic testing enterprises, consumer protections, not for early clinical trials on testing like COVID, and yet which are subject to a bunch of other rules and consents and disclosures. So this bill conflicts with all those other rules and regulations under federal law and everything else. So it's not, does not fit in with this particular piece of legislation. It would have a chilling effect on something that's not intended by this bill to be captured. And so for those reasons, Mr. President, I'd urge a red vote on this particular amendment, but it is well intended and I appreciate the senator's intent on this bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. All right, on the amendment, Chair recognizes the Chair of Finance.
In light of the fact that the committee hasn't had an opportunity to really pay attention to the amendment in light of what is being said and the article that is being shared with us, I would ask if we could hold this bill and give the committee a chance to take a look at the two things and to come back to you when you reassemble.
Okay, so the senator has moved to special order the bill for, Senator, give us a time, 30 minutes? It's 30 minutes. Is there an objection to the special order? Without objection, the bill and the amendment will be special ordered for 30 minutes. All right. Let's read the message from, what is this, Senate Bill. We have a message from the House.
Senate Bill 763, Senator Signor. Public safety and criminal procedure, collection, reporting, and publication of criminal case and prosecutorial information. Maryland Criminal Justice Data Transparency Act.
Clerk, read the message.
By the Majority Leader, ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, the House of Delegates does not recede in the House amendments to the Senate bill and agrees to a conference committee to confirm the disagreeing votes of the two houses. The Senate has appointed Senator Smith chairman, Senator Wallstreicher, Senator West. The House appoints Delegate Clippinger chair, Delegate Moon, Delegate Bartlett. Said bill is returned herewith by order Sylvia Siegert, Chief Clerk.
Message having been read is ordered journalized. We've got another message to the Senate. Clerk will read the message.
Senate Bill 861, Senator Bidle, Public Safety, Firearm Crimes Enforcement Center Offenses and Procedures. By the Majority Leader, ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, the House of Delegates does not recede in the House amendments to the Senate bill and agrees to a conference committee to confer on the disagreeing votes of the two houses. The Senate has appointed Senator Smith, Chairman, Senator Lee, Senator Bailey. The House appoints Delegate Clippinger, Chair, Delegate Moon, Delegate Williams. Said bill is returned herewith by order. Sylvia Sigurd, Chief Clerk.
All right, message having been read is ordered journalized. We've got a conference committee report. Conference committee report is on House Bill 153. Clerk will read the bill.
House Bill 153, Delegate Crutchfield, Criminal Laws, Sexual Crimes, Repeal of Spousal Defense.
Chair recognizes the chair of the conference committee on the report.
Yeah, move favorable to conference committee report.
The senator has to explain the conference committee report.
Oh, okay. Let me get that. Do you have the report there? I don't have the report, but I can tell you what the bill does.
Let's
Okay.
let's special order the bill for 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Any objections?
No.
Without objection, the bill will be special ordered for 10 minutes. Let's see. Okay. We've got a report out of the Committee on Education, Health, and Environmental Affairs. Let's take that up. 77. Clerk will read the bill.
House Bill 250, Delegate Stewart, Private Well Safety Act of 2022, favorable with 2 amendments.
Chair recognizes the senator from District 9.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, House Bill 250 establishes the Private Well Safety Program and the Private Well Safety Fund administered by the Maryland Department of the Environment. The purpose of the special fund is toward grants to eligible counties and covered households in ineligible counties for costs associated with water quality testing and remediation. The bill also establishes related reporting and outreach requirements, as well as requirements for contracts for the sale of real property. There are 2 committee amendments. The first is technical. The second clarifies that the provisions of the bill requiring the Department to administer grants for private well testing and remediation are subject to the availability of funding in the Private Well Safety Fund. Therefore, the bill does not mandate that the special fund is capitalized. I move the adoption of the 2 committee amendments and the favorable committee report, which passed unanimously.
All right. The senator moves for the adoption of the 2 committee amendments and the favorable committee report. On the amendments, any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the 2 committee amendments are adopted. Question now is on the favorable report as amended. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the favorable committee report as amended is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, House Bill 250 is hereby ordered passed to 3rd reading. All right, look, I think there are a lot of conference committees out there. There's a lot of last-minute tidying up. I think it might be in the best interest of the Senate to potentially give us an hour and take a break, come back at 10. So we got plenty of time there. We don't have too much backed up. So let's plan on doing that. Chair recognizes the Chair of Finance.
Yeah. When we break, colleagues in Senate Finance, could we take a minute in the red room? Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Chair of any other Education, Health, and Environmental Affairs?
Mr. President, before I announce when we're going to meet, and we're going to meet, we have a few concurrence to go over. I pulled out a file earlier tonight, and a letter of information dropped out onto my desk. And many of the people here who've only been here for 7.5 years haven't experienced what happened prior to that under Democrat and Republican administrations. every agency engaged with our committees and said if it was a good bill or a bad bill or it needed amendments, and they'd actually offer amendment language. But for the last 7.5 years, we've generally received letters of information and lack of engagement from the administration. So, Mr. President, hopefully the next administration, because there will be one in 9 months or 10 months, hopefully will engage with us. And if any of the agencies choose not to engage with us, I would urge you and the Chair of Budget and Tax to consider reducing their executive office budgets, because this has been wrong. It's been wrong for 7.5 years. And I have heard from not only Democrats, but from Republicans who felt it's been unfair that we haven't gotten information from the agencies who have to implement the bills and laws under our consideration. So I want to just share with you that hopefully after January, we won't ever see this kind of activity again. With that, Mr. President, the EHE committee will meet in our committee room at 9:45.
9:45. Budget and Tax is open. Judicial Proceedings.
Mr. President, is the Red Room open at the moment, or?
Finance will be there immediately following session.
So if we could, how long is Finance going to take, if I might ask? 10 hours? Until sine die?
The Senate.
All right. You know what? We're good. Thank you very much.
The old Senate chamber too is also available.
Okay. If we could meet 5 minutes after session for just literally 2 seconds in the old Senate chamber.
All right.
Thank
5
you.
minutes in the old Senate for judicial proceedings immediately following. Any other announcements? Chair recognizes the Senator from Anne Arundel.
For an introduction, Mr. President. Introduction.
Oh, Senator may proceed.
Thank you. Colleagues, it's a tradition here, especially on sine die, to introduce our staff. I had to kind of embarrass him to come over today, but Dylan Baylor has been with me even before I was sworn into the Senate. He cold emailed me to volunteer on the campaign a year before Election Day, and I'm so grateful. We are nothing without our staffs, and he is just the most solutions-oriented, hardest-working person I know, and I just ask that we give him a warm Senate welcome and a thank you for all his work in the last 4 years.
Welcome, Dylan. Welcome.
Mr. President.
Chair recognizes Senator from District 7.
Thank you. Just a quick introduction. In the gallery behind me, a gentleman by the name of Chris Rudolph. Chris worked for our caucus for about 14 years. Before he retired, he came to work for me personally in my office. It's been great. I thank him, but just this summer when you're at the beach, Chris's summertime job is he flies the kites from the kite loft. So you see those kites flying around, doing the tricks. Usually in the evenings, it's Chris out there on the beach. So if you learn how to do it, go up and see Chris. So Chris, thanks for being here.
Thank you for all your work. We appreciate you being here. All right, any other introductions or announcements? It appears that the Finance Committee prior to going over, Finance Committee prior to going over could just come to the front to do a picture, a committee picture in the room. There was a request made by members. So we'll take the picture and then process to the Red Room. All right, any other, Chair recognizes Chair of Budget and Tax.
Thank you, Mr. President. So I understand an hour from now, approximately?
Ish. 10.
Okay. How about 5 of 10-ish?
In the committee room?
In the Red Room.
In the Red Room. All right, that works. Chair recognizes.
Yes, if we're
Senator
going to
Baltimore
have
County.
a picture of the Senate Finance, I would like a picture of the Baltimore County delegation. Oh, we did get that, didn't we? I forgot.
Good news. It already exists.
Oh, I forgot.
We could do another one, you know. It's been a long day, folks. It's been a long day for all of us. All right, 9:08. So Chair recognizes the Vice Chair of Educational and Environmental Affairs.
Just in case we're going to be a little bit even more scrambled in our brains later, I just wanted to take the opportunity to make sure that anyone listening and folks on this floor know that this July, Baltimore is going to be hosting the International Scrabble Championships. And I am looking forward to it, and I think a lot of you know I'm a nationally ranked Scrabble player, although my brain, I know, sorry. But I did not used to be the mayor of Frederick, so just to be clear about that. But it's going to be a lot of fun. We've got folks coming from around the country and around the world, and it's an economic development opportunity, and it's going to be prestigious and educational and a lot of fun. So if any of you are interested in stopping by and joining us by day or by evening, that would be a great time. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you for that observation, Senator. Thank you. Thank you. That's it's exciting. It's good. International Scrabble Championship. Chair recognizes the budget tax.
Committee members, please listen. Committee members. So in addition to the very important work that we'll do at 5 of 10 ish, we're also going to have a picture. So please be there this time. Everyone.
9:50. 9:50.
9:50.
9:50. 9:50. We do have to do so. We gotta close down. So we do have some work we gotta get done. So we're gonna try and hold 10. 10 is real. 10 is real. Not Senate 10, not JPR 10. It's 10. All right. Anything else before we take a quorum call? If not, Madam Clerk.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their presence? If so, the clerk will take the call. With 47 members in the chamber and a quorum being present, the Senate of Maryland remains in session. Chair recognizes the Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate of Maryland stand adjourned until 10 p.m.
Without objection, so ordered. Stay safe. See you at 10.